All right, so we got Hazy on the top. That's what my layout here says. Let me load it up, and let's do it. All right. Good luck. Have fun, you two. I'm excited to see this one. Hazy Sage looks like they are going first as well. Yeah, we're going to be announcing those soon, Brad. There's a couple that we're going to be doing. So, all right. In Elestrals, a lot of casters like to go first. And you might ask yourself, why? Well, the way the game starts in the app is you flip a coin, but, you know, otherwise you would roll the die, find out who's going to go first. Going first gives you an advantage right now in Elestrals because the counter runes are so important. And it allows you to get your Elestral out first, right? So it's an advantage. The downside is that the person going second gets their draw phase, which means they get to draw an extra card, basically, right? As a way to kind of counter that. Some decks play better playing first than playing second, but what I will say is an observation that I've had as the deck develops, you know, as we continue to, you know, create, not the deck, but the sets develop, as I, you know, because I've created set 2, set 3, and even set 4 is almost done now, even though that's a long ways away for you guys. The opportunity of going second as a viable way to start a game is actually increased significantly. So let's get this one kicked off here. Sorry, I was on a tangent. Rummagem, 2 face downs. Rummagem searches out the Viscerus. That's a great opening turn for Hazy Sage, running Earth, it seems. Sir Ruli's responding here with Wind. Going to get Aelus out there, Divine, going for only the 3 enchant, which means they're going to go for a search, and that is going to be that. So actually going to go for just a 2 enchant and just toss it. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, just going to go for the 2 disenchant. Aelus is the kind of the bread and butter of Wind, right? Because what it does is you immediately get to search out any of your Wind Elestrals, then they can put on some serious pressure right away. Going to go for the P-Gust here, which is going to put a defensive approach. Going to pop one of those face down runes, looking to clear the back row and then execute a strategy later. Popping a Shield of Achilles, one of the best things you can hit in that situation. The question is, though, does Ruli have the back row to protect himself? Because Hazy Sage does have that Viscerus looming on this next turn. And if you could not protect yourself from that Viscerus, the game can snowball very quickly. Oftentimes, decks that run Viscerus will start to carry Helios's Chariot Ride. Chariot Ride can shut down opponent's rune play for an entire turn, but you gotta play it in the draw phase. If Hazy has that face down, that could be massive here with this Viscerus, but let's see what their play is gonna be. I do fully expect a Viscerus push regardless. I feel like there's very little downside here to just putting the pressure on, but he's actually going to go for the Earthquake instead. When you're facing an Earth deck, you know they're going to have 3 Earthquakes. You're going to have to play around that. That P-Gust gets destroyed instantly, which means that it's not going to have an opportunity to make any sort of a splash on this one. And what that also does is it means that Hazy doesn't have to rely on their Viscerus this turn, which is huge. If they have another Elestral aside from Viscerus, they can play that out and save that for later and try to pressure some of those face-down counter runes and, you know, ultimately be able to chip away. So I'm excited here. Let's see what we got. Crazy that we get to see both halves of the Elestrals Eternal Showdown team series get paired up. Oh, wow. So I guess these two have a little series together, which is great. Someone definitely send that to me. The tournament prize is a full art Pantera uncut sheet. So it's a sheet of the card Full Art Pantera. And the only way to get it is through a giveaway or winning a tournament. So, and we've got a handful of people who've won a few of them. But yeah, there's a really cool prize. You can frame it in your room, and it's something really special. And the Stellar Blisters. So Hazy does opt to go for Viscerus. That tells me they probably didn't have another Elestral to play, because I think if you have something else, you probably play it there. But it's no harm, because they get to attack twice. And the only play Ruli has that makes sense here is the Tsunami. Tsunami's going to switch both those Elestrals to defense position. And the reason why you do that play, I think normally, if it's anything other than Viscerus, you might not do that play there, right? Like, you might save your Tsunami for later. But because you have such an immediate threat with Viscerus, you have to get rid of it this turn. And you have to attack it when it's in defense position. That's going to be the best opportunity to try to get rid of that. So Elechick is going to be the answer there. This is going to give him either a Zeus or an Aelus. I'm not sure what Ruli's running. We already saw one Aelus on the field, but this is going to get that Divine Search, and at the very least, maybe doesn't get rid of the Viscerus here, but forces one of Hazy's face-down runes, and we've already seen that Shield of Achilles get destroyed because of the P-Gust a couple turns back. Elechick is going to go for that Search. We're going to find out what it's going to grab. Again, it's most likely Aelus or Zeus in this context. It is going to be Zeus. Zeus is going to give another out to Viscerus later on in case this Elechick isn't able to get the job done on this turn. So that's why that's a crucial pickup. And I guess if you're not searching for Elestrals, you really don't need Aelus. You already have one on the field, so if you draw into Exaltar, you have that play later. Aelus is pretty expensive, so a lot of the times, you know, you don't want to, you don't want to use it too often. And I'll tell you what, Ruli gets a huge break there. The Viserys goes down from the attack of the Elechick. That is massive, because if Hazy's able to stop that attack, this game could be totally different, because Viserys puts on so much pressure. We talk a lot about Astrabbit being one of the premier Elestrals in the game from a defensive perspective. From an offensive perspective, I would say that would be Viserys. Equalings comes out now. Does Hazy have a Divine Rune to pair with it, or the Foley Forest to be able to start doing some face down pops? And he does. Demeter comes out, the goddess of the harvest, going to be able to provide a Nexus bank for Equalings. Equalings can pop a rune or destroy a rune on the field every time it uses its Nexus effect, which is once per turn. The Foley Forest comes out. That's going to provide an attack buff and a defense buff to all Earth Enchanted Elestrals. Rummagem switches to the offensive with 3 attack now. Equalings gonna go for that Nexus. Gonna be able to move a spirit from Demeter onto either the Equalings, the Rummagem, or even the Foley Forest. Gonna go onto the Equalings there. That's going to give it another attack buff as well because of Foley Forest. And now Hazy can target any one of the 3 face down runes or the Aeolus and target them for destruction. You're playing, magical hats here. Which one are you going to go for? Going to go for the one next to the Aeolus. Let's find out what it's going to be. Does Ruli have a response? Gorgon's Gaze, perhaps? Yes! Gorgon's Gaze comes out of the rune slot next to the main deck. That's going to prevent Equalings from using its Nexus Destruction. That tells me that whatever that rune Ruli had was more important. And now, the big kicker here is that the Equalings actually can't attack this turn either. Gorgon's Gaze, the big no button of Elestrals that shuts down effects, suppresses them, and prevents attack. It's incredible. Ambrosia's going to heal off some spirits, and that's going to be the end of that turn. One note there, if that Equalings had chose to Nexus onto Rummagem, that would have allowed Rummagem to crash into Elechick in this context, which might have been a superior play. So something to consider there. Hindsight always 20/20, of course, but big plays there from Ruli, having that Gorgon's Gaze, saving whatever that face down rune is. And one thing to note right now is we know he has Zeus, so Zeus can allow him to hit over that Equalings with the Elechick now, and Hazy has no cards in hand. As someone like myself who's played card games my whole life, one of the most important pieces of information to take into account when making decisions in your game is how many cards does my opponent have in hand? Hazy has none, which means everything is on the field, no face downs. That gives Ruli the confidence to make big plays. As Astrabbit hits the field, gets that look on the top 3, grabs a card that's most certainly going to give him an advantage here, and we know that Zeus is going to strike down to the field any second. There it is. With Zeus's power, you can take that Equalings from 6 attack down to 3, which means Elechick's 4 attack hits over it. And then, well, Astrabbit can't get through the Rummagem just yet, but there's a couple different opportunities here for Ruli to get some advantage. Let's see what we got right now. The Zeus comes down with 2. Again, gonna go after that Equalings, and then we'll see the Elechick take it out. But what's the play with the Rummagem? That's gonna be the question, because that is still a 3 attack Rummagem. Could be a little bit annoying to deal with. Hazy takes the quick way out and says, all right, well, listen, my Equalings is gone. I get it. But does Ruli have a way to get rid of the Rummagem, or is that going to sit there for another turn? Because Demeter still is in play, right? And Demeter, much like Zeus, can change the stats of Elestrals on the field. You can use that Demeter to buff your Rummagem and make it so it can hit over the Elechick, which may be the play. There is a significant spirit difference here, though, right? Like, let's consider that Hazy does have 14 spirits. Still an opportunity to make some big plays. That Rummagem and the Foley Forest are big. Gonna go for an expend to draw here. I think that's a really smart decision if you're Hazy. In Elestrals, instead of casting an Elestral for the turn, you can expend a spirit or pay a spirit cost to draw a card from the top of your deck. So you actually get a second draw outside of your draw phase. Gonna draw to the Earthquake. That's gonna get rid of the Elechick, and all of a sudden, Hazy has the offensive momentum because Rummagem with 3 attack and Foley Forest does attack over Astrabbit with just 2 attack. Most certainly Ruli has an answer, right? That face down rune next to Aeolus was clearly important. It's an Altar of Stars. Wow, that's a great play. Altar of Stars is probably my
Didn't they talk about containing a chicken menu? It contains a burrito, a crispy taco, and my favorite, the quesadilla. The possibilities are endless, so what are you waiting for? Oh my.
Back in the day, our internet could only handle 2 players.
These kids don't know how good they have it.
Hey, Boga, you got next?
Time to get to work.
Ultra-fast speeds for multiple devices. The Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now.
Upgrade to Google Fiber and pay one simple bill every month.
What about extra fees, like installation?
Taken care of.
Equipment?
No,
Data overages?
there's no such thing. Find out if your address is eligible today at fiber.google.com.
Well, I graduated. Wonder what's next.
When it's time to start a new chapter, you'll find your new car on Kelly Blue Book. We'll help you find the one that makes life even better.
Good job, babe.
And when you need a new ride for your new addition,
Are we ready, boys?
Kelly Blue Book has the tools to make it happen.
Favorite counter rune in the game because I feel like it enables the highest level play. And here's what it does here. Able to Nexus a spirit from the Zeus onto the Astrabit. You can then change the position of Astrabit into defense position because of Altar of Stars, making it so Rummagem cannot attack over you. Then Astrabit's receive effect allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add one to your hand, gaining an additional card advantage. All of that happened because of that one play. Alter cast, change the position, Nexus, activate Astrabit's effect. That is Elestrals, ladies and gentlemen. Nexusing, activating receive effects, gaining card advantage, all in the moment. What a cool play there. The Rummagem is stopped, and now Ruli, look what the card advantage they have is. They got that draw from the Astrabit. They got another draw in their draw phase. Now they're going to take stadium control. You can only have one stadium on the field at a time. Island of Aeolia wipes out the Foley Forest here. Astrabit is poised to attack. If Ruli has any Elestrals at all in his hand, this Rummagem is most likely going down. It's going to be Exaltair. It doesn't get any better than that because now you can Nexus from your Aeolus onto your Exaltair, burn for 2, and then attack and hit for 3 spirits directly. That's going to be a 5 spirit swing here. And next thing you know, we got ourselves a tie, baby. And Hazy, again, we talk about card advantage, down to just 1 in hand, the Demeter on field, and this Rummagem is about to go down. So Exaltair goes to the Nexus, burns for 2. Now it can attack over the Rummagem with just, oh, it actually has a buffed attack now because of Island of Aeolia, sitting at 5 attack. Going to be able to take out Rummagem, and then Astrabit gets to hit directly for 2 spirits. Huge plays from Ruli. So remember, at one point in this clash, that Viscerus was staring things down. It was looking pretty scary. That Altar of Stars play was big just now. Such a huge card advantage. And Astrabit again chipping away for 2. And we are down to a 7-6 clash right now, it looks like. And Hazy Sage top decking for something. Game 1 of our semifinals here of the Elestrals Digital Tournament. Does Hazy have a play? They do have the Demeter, which can get over the Exaltair, but 2 face-down runes stare Hazy down. Here comes an Earthquake. That's big. That's big. Earthquake gonna take out Exaltair, remove the threat of that Nexus next turn. Also remove the, the value that Island of Aeolia has provided. And now, if Hazy has an Elestral, they can make a push. They do. They have an Elechick, and they're going to go for the Water Enchant on the Elechick. Let me explain why. In Elestrals, you can enchant your Elestrals with the correct element, right? He's going to get stopped by Shield, but I'll explain this. Sometimes, you can choose to use the incorrect element. And in doing so, you can sometimes dodge specific cards. So Hazy Sage was playing around Tsunami there, predicting a Tsunami to be played. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, because if you Tsunami anyway, you change the Astrabit to defense, and then it doesn't die, so, But still, pretty cool plays there. I love seeing that kind of strategy and that kind of thinking. Does get Shield of Achilles back to his hand, though, which means that Sorlet's going to come down. Astrabit's there. He's going to hit for 3. There's no back row to contend with. Hazy Sage going to be top decking once more with only 1 spirit left in his spirit deck, but he does still have that 1 spirit of Demeter. Going to showcase their Elechick. And another Elechick, and that's going to be game. Sir Ruli takes game 1 of this best of 3 here in the semifinals with a dominant performance on the back of Exaltair showing up. Astrabit doing some work. Really, really cool plays there. I love that Altar of Stars play. Like I said, my absolute favorite card, man. I really think Altar of Stars is a super fun card, and I think that it creates some really good gameplay. Like, that's the thing that gets me so excited. It creates, like, really good gameplay. So big shout outs there. That was a great clash, and I can't wait to see the next one. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. All right, let me see where they're at for game 2. Yeah, you can just send it to me, Jack. I'll take a look at it later on. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm gonna break the server by clicking so much. That was a hype clash, dude. Love it. I love Altar of Stars, man. Like I said, I feel like it's definitely one of the most fun cards to play. It's definitely one of the most fun cards to play. Like the fact that you can change a position and make it like an offensive play or a defensive play. Like one of the best applications for it is like, let's say you have an Elestral in defense and they have a higher attack stat and they go to attack you, you can alter yourself into attack position and then knock them out. There's some crazy stuff you can do with that card. That card is awesome. Now that you made a Discord, what's next? You join our server, discord.gg/Elestrals, or just type !Discord. You can join the server and then you just, follow kind of the prompts and stuff, go to the general chat and just say, hey. And you can hang out with all the Elestral players, the casters. I'm just waiting to see when these guys are hosting now. You guys side decking?
Yep, we're just about to enter now.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So one thing to note here in Elestrals is you do have a side deck, which means you construct a 60-card main deck, which is 40 cards in your main deck. I'm sorry, you construct a 60-card deck, a 40-card main deck, and a 20-card spirit deck, but then you have a 12-card side deck as well. And in between games of a best of 3, like this, you can change cards out from your main deck and your side deck to better handle an opponent's strategy. So these two casters can actually drastically transform their decks. Over a quarter of your deck can be changed with, well, I guess it's kind of both your spirit and your main deck. But anyway, you can change your deck a lot by side decking. So let's see here. We got Hazy Sage at the top. And let me grab the updated layout here. And I will get this going here. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? This is what I need. Boom. All right, cool. So, Server really going to kick this one off with a mulligan. So he's going to expend 2 spirits and draw 5 new cards. Looks like he's going to set 2. So we got the mulligan, we got the set 2, and we got the Astrabit for Hazy Sage. Probably one of the best turn 1s you could have if you're Hazy, right? I think every caster loves to see their Astrabit on turn 1. It doesn't get a whole lot better. It doesn't get a whole lot better, you know? You get that 5 defense out there, you get to add another card from your deck. It's just very good. Hard to beat that. Serve really gonna get their turn kicked off with a draw. I guess they didn't mulligan because they still have 20 spirits, so maybe they didn't. Gonna get this one kicked off. Set 3 face down, actually. So just set the back row. Set the whole gauntlet you gotta get through now if you're Hazy Sage. He says, listen, I've got this whole... I'm not even gonna play an Elestral. I'm just gonna draw. I'm gonna draw again. So it goes for the expend the draw. Chooses not to play an Elestral. If you're Hazy, though, you gotta be feeling great about that, because if you have back row that can do something, you can immediately pressure right now with Astrabit. And if you have the back row to protect yourself, it's very little downside. Because you don't, like, Astrabit is not a card you want to Shield of Achilles. He's got 2 of them. That's even better if you're Hazy. This is a really good place to be if you're Hazy. Astrabit is not the kind of card you want to Gorgon's Gaze or Shield of Achilles generally. Like, you don't want to waste your counter runes on it because it's not an offensive threat. But when you get to have 2 of them and just kind of poke away, it becomes problematic if you're not able to get rid of them, because once they go back in a defense position, it's going to be very difficult to get rid of them. So you know, these Astrabids can actually give some significant card advantage if they stick around for a long time. And now it's not even, if you're Ruli, it's not even like, okay, I need one Earthquake to get rid of it and I can press forward. Now I got to get rid of both of them, right? And in a deck where, you know, you might have like a Sorlid or something like that, it starts to get expensive too. It starts to get really expensive to be able to pay those costs to keep that kind of pressure on. So the double Astrabid hits, again, Ruli has no reason to counter this generally. You don't want to shield them. You really don't want a Tsunami here. That would be, you know, a bad play. You're not really gaining much of advances there. It's too late to Gorgon, so you just take the 2. That's it. You take the 2 spirits and you move on and you hope that you draw an Elestral. You know, so Ruli's going to look. They're going to try to grab, you know, something here to put some pressure on. It's going to be Elichik. That's very good. Elichik gives them a little bit of deck thinning here. Also provides them either Zeus or Aeolus. I'm going to go Aeolus, which tells me that doesn't have a lot of Elestrals.
Y'all quit messing around. Let's ride.
Back in the day, our internet could only handle 2 players.
These kids don't know how good they have it.
Hey, Boga, you got next?
Time to get to work.
Ultra-fast speeds for multiple devices. The Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now.
The new $1.99 Sonic Crispy Tender Wraps are here for a limited time in bold flavors, like Hickory Barbecue or Cheesy Baja. Give yourself some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic Crispy Tender Wraps.
You know, that tells me that, you know, maybe they're identifying, okay, I'm going to either need my P-Guest, because I'm going to need to get rid of that back row, or I'm going to need Exaltair, because I'm going to need to get some burns going. Elichik going to put the pressure on right away. Hazy most certainly has an answer here. 4 back row. What are you going to choose? No, going to take the attack. Very interesting. So that means that whatever Hazy has in terms of back row, maybe there's some... No, he actually... I think he just wants to leave the Elichik out there and pressure with Viscerus. Maybe saying, you know what, I'll trade in Astrabid if I can keep your Elichik out there, because now I can immediately put some pressure on. Poison Tipped Arrow is going to stop that, though. Poison Tipped Arrow is going to drop the attack of that Viscerus by 2. But Demeter says, no, no, no. I'm here. It's a really cool sequence of plays there. Poison Tipped Arrow drops the Viscerus attack by 2, making it so it's a 3 attacker, meaning it can't get its effect attacking over the Elichik, but Demeter comes into play. It's going to buff the attack of Viscerus by 3, bringing it up to 6 attack. And now it can attack over the Elichik, and even though it's going to go down in the following end phase with the Poison Tipped Arrow, you can still get another Viscerus to the field and continue to put that pressure on and build that kind of field presence that you're looking for. So we'll have to see, because now Certain Ruli's in a spot where they might have to spend 2 back row to do this, and that's exactly what happens, right? So Ruli's able to... I think this is super worth, right? Like, if you're Ruli, this is 100% the play, and it's a really good response to this. But it feels bad, man, because you're dropping your Poison Tipped Arrow, and you're dropping your Tsunami just to get rid of a Viscerus, and that just shows how strong that card is. Now, granted, there was obviously the Demeter. That was an important part of that exchange, but nonetheless, right? Like, you're still clearing, you know, you're still spending 2 important back row, 3 spirits to get rid of 1 Elestral. So, really, really, you know, good plays there on both ends, to be honest. So Ruli's going to draw up for their turn, and they've got the Elichik, obviously, defense position from their Tsunami. Astrabid providing some defensive presence, probably going to stop any sort of attacks there. Ruli might be looking to play something like, some removal here, or maybe an Astrabid of their own. We know they had the Aeolus, so there's an opportunity to potentially grab like an Exaltair and try to start that burn strategy. The problem with that is it's just so expensive. But Sorlid solves that problem pretty quickly, because you can immediately change the position of that Astrabid and start to force Hazy's back row here. A lot of Elestrals right now is kind of vying for positioning with that back row. There's a very heavy prevalence of counter runes in the game, which are what prevent your opponents from attacking or making actions on their turn. I will say that there's some really cool cards that are coming in the next set that are going to kind of allow some counterplay there too. Counterplay. But ultimately, you got to get through that back row. So Hazy's got, and let's not forget, he had 2 Astrabbits popping off there to get even more back row. But the Sorlet does change the position, but did he choose not to attack? I feel like I'm so confused. Wait, what happened? Why would he do that? He expended, changed the Astrabbit to attack, and then played a card face down and then ended. That had to have been an accident, right? Why would you not attack? I'm very confused. He changed the wrong phase? Yeah, maybe. Well, I'll let the judge and them, they're on a call, so I'll let them kind of sort it out. I'm not sure. Misclick on phase. Yeah, maybe. Because the reason why I'm so confused is, he basically, he paid the spirit on Sorlet to, yeah, it looks like they're trying to kind of go backwards here. He paid the spirit on Sorlet to go for an offensive play and then didn't make the offensive play. So you wouldn't, if you weren't going to attack, then you wouldn't use Sorlet's effect there, right? So it must have been a misclick. So he just puts the card back on the top of his deck. He doesn't have to shuffle. You just leave it there. And then, we can kind of go back into this battle phase and kind of see how that plays out. Let's see it. The Sorlet gonna go into the Astrabbit, presumably. Yep, there it is. That goes down, and now Elechick free to attack directly into the Spirit deck to bring him down to 15. You generally, if you don't respond to the attack of the Rabbit, you probably don't respond to this, but let's see. Yep, the Spirit is taken. And now Hazy is going to be back on their turn, essentially. And we're back to kind of where we want to be. So, good plays there from Ruli, having that Sorlet put on the pressure, getting that Astrabbit into attack position, and then allowing himself to clear those and ultimately hit for 1. Hazy does have a Viscerus, though. That is a key card to get him back in this one, but he's going to need to connect onto that Elechick. Getting rid of Elechick on this turn on the battle phase is going to be so crucial for Hazy to come back on this one. Otherwise, Ruli's going to be able to mount a significant board that's going to be tough to come back for. If you're Ruli and you have a Shield of Achilles right now, you got to be feeling pretty good. Here comes the attack into the Elechick. Will we see a Shield of Achilles or a Gorgon's Gaze for the crash? That could be an interesting play too. Let's see. I like the Gorgon's Gaze on a crash here because you get rid of the Viscerus altogether. If you shield it, you got to deal with it later. There is the Gorgon's Gaze. I love it. Gorgon's Gaze gonna pop off. Does he do it in the attack step? Yeah, it looks like he's gonna go for the crash. That's a really good play. That was kind of the one I forecasted right there. I love that play because you get the Viscerus out of the equation. If it goes to hand, you got to deal with it next turn. If you do that, you lose your Elechick, but you got rid of Viscerus, and that's the objective because that card is a menace. It's very difficult to deal with. Here comes Aeolus, and now Ruli can put the pressure on and go Exaltair if he wants, and that's going to start to really burn some spirits down. This is where the deck starts to get expensive, though, right? You're going to put out 2 spirits just to get this search. You could go P-Gust, too, actually. I think you go Exaltair, though, because I think that pressure you put on with Exaltair is greater than P-Gust. You kind of want him to use his back row now, especially since he doesn't have any sort of Elestral presence and only 1 card in hand. Nemisail? Oh, yeah, I mean, he could go Nemisail. Could go Nemisail. Could go Nemisail! I love it! I almost forgot. Oh, my gosh. So, I did kind of forget. Nemisail is a card that doesn't release until Frostfall, but on our Elestrals app, we sometimes release cards early. Nemisail is one of those. It regenerates 2 spirits every time it receives a wind spirit, so that's going to actually heal him, too. And he gets to attack with that thing. I love that play. I love that play. Very cool. Very cool. So now Nemisail going to regenerate those 2 spirits. And he gets to put the pressure on. Definitely an interesting play. I love it. I love it. Healing up those 2. And the poison-tipped arrow comes down on the Nemisail. I think that's a really good play, actually, because you don't want to allow that Nemisail to get an Altar of Stars. So at least you're removing that option. But it is going to heal and going to have the opportunity to still hit for 2. and burn the PTA, so it's going to be a 4-spirit exchange here unless they do something about the Sorlet. A shield actually could be really good on that Sorlet too, because then you end up in a situation where there's no board anymore on Ruli's side, and he's down to 7 spirits. So a couple interesting plays here, but the Nemi Seal is going to be gone at the end of the turn anyway because of Poison Tipped Arrow. So let's see. The Tsunami play comes in. Okay. I don't know. I guess I see it. If you have 2 Tsunamis, I definitely see it, right? Like, it makes sense if you have 2 of them. You're taking 1 spirit, so you don't have to take 2. You get the Sorlet into defense, which gives you a chance to at least knock it out. All right, I respect it. I respect it. That's a fair play. Now, if you're Hazy, though, you need an Elestral right now because you got to get rid of that Sorlet. You got to get rid of the Sorlet right now. And he has to expend to draw. Oh, man. Hazy doesn't get the card he needs. My goodness. That's going to be tough. That's going to be super tough. Oh, man. Earthquake comes out. He gets the Earthquake at least. He does get the Earthquake at least. And he's going to take him out. Let's see what we got here. Oh, my goodness. There's a draw. Let's see it. And Elestral is mega huge. Exaltair would be massive right now if you're Ruli. That Earthquake was big. Expend to draw into Earthquake. Exaltair! Oh, man! Wow! The exact card that you're looking for right there. Sir Ruli drops Exaltair. The reason why that's so big is he gets to Nexus it on, burn for 2, and then he gets to attack for 2 as well. Oh, man, that's a 4-spirit swing right there with 1.
This spring is the perfect time to get away with a great deal on your favorite Hyundai model. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get in and get away now before these deals are gone.
Lease a 2024 Palisade for $369 a month, or get 3.99% APR for 60 months, or up to $1,500 bonus cash. Hurry in.
Play Exaltair. So big, dude. And it's gonna pressure every turn now too, because if another Elestral hits the field, Exaltair gets to continue that burn. And we just saw Hazy burn an Earthquake, so the chances of them having another one, slim. Shield of Achilles is big, though. That is big, though. All right, he's going to bounce the Exaltair back to his hand. Hazy able to pick up another card. Fishing for an Elestral. Needs to get some offensive momentum here. Here it goes. Hazy Sage draws 3 cards in hand. Whew. What do we got? Do we see an Elestral in this crucial late game moment? Down 1-0 from Ruli. Hazy looking for it. Let's get it. What do we got? The hesitation tells me that he might not have an Elestral, which tells me he's got to decide. Do I expend the draw? Ambrosia heals 3. That's very valid. That's very valid. Ambrosia heals 3. That's going to be big. Equalings! He had the Elestral. Equalings, Demeter. Oh, baby, here we go. Let it rip. Equalings hits the field, immediately pressures with a Demeter face down. That's going to force the Nexus. And he's got to pick one of those 4 face downs. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It is meeny. And that face down rune, the number 2 is going to go down, but a Gorgon's Gaze would stop this in its tracks. It's a safe play here with 4 face downs. You're going to take 2 spirits if you take an attack anyway. So you're going to play that counter no matter what. If he's got a Gorgon's, you're playing it. Or you can, I guess if you have a shield, you might want to wait. He's got to decide. I feel like the face down, it's a Gorgon's. He chooses not to use it. It doesn't matter. There's no benefit to using it here or not if you pop the Gorgon's, because you're either paying 2 to play the Gorgon's or you're taking 2. So there's really no downside here. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. We're gonna see 2 spirits, or maybe he plays shield. Maybe he shielded back. No, he's gonna take the 2. He's gonna take the 2. All right. Well, listen, if you're Ruli, you need a Sorlet. You need your Sorlet right now, real bad. You need your Sorlet right now. You'll take an Astrabit as well. You'll love an Earthquake or a Laurels. A Laurels would be incredible. You definitely want Laurels right now. Let's see it. Oh, man. What do we got here? Ruli is thinking about it. It's a 4-4 game. Man, oh man. P-Gust in defense position. Popping the face down rune. Laurels goes down. Oh man. Ruli is just met with an Equalinx. Hazy Sage top deck and has nothing else to play. What is he going to draw into? If Ruli has a good face down right now, like something like a shield, and you get that Equalinx back to hand, you could actually put in some work still. It's all going to come down to, does Hazy have another way to start going after that face down back row? And does Ruli have a way to stop that Equalinx from attacking here? Hazy also has the opportunity, do I want to go for an expend the draw here? You know, we don't know what they just picked up. This is a close one. Coming down to the wire. It is coming down to the wire. Gonna just go for a straight up attack into P-Gust. Will the P-Gust be able to withstand this attack? Let's find out. Ruli is debating, do they have some face down plays? Oh man. The anticipation. Let's find out. Oh man, does he have a play? He's got a play, he just is debating on if he's gonna use it or not. Right? So like you could Gorgon's Gaze here, stop the attack and save your P-Gust, but if you don't think you can get rid of the Equalinx in the next turn, it doesn't really matter, right? So then it's like, do you want a Tsunami and save your P-Gust? But getting it in defense position isn't really going to help you too much unless you draw into like Exaltair. It's going to go the Tsunami route. That's the cheapest route at least, right? It's only going to cost you 1 spirit. You get the Equalinx into defense, and you give yourself at least a chance here. Sorlet's the card you're looking for. I mean, that's it. You're looking for Sorlet right now. You gotta get rid of that, you gotta get rid of that Lynx. Only 2 spirits left for Ruli. His opportunities, his choices here are very limited. Exaltair goes nuts here. Not really, right? Like, you're not getting through Equalinx. So you're burning 2, but you still have to be able to defensively deal with the Equalinx next turn. So I think, honestly, like, it's Sorlet. Sorlet's your play, like, if you have it. He obviously doesn't have it, because he would have played it by now if he had Sorlet. Yeah, I don't know. It's close. I feel like if you're Hazy, though, you're not like super worried yet, because if Ruli had a play, I feel like he would have made it, right? There's no question about what Hazy can do right now. He can't do anything. He's just sitting there with a 3 defense Celestial, which tells you that Ruli doesn't necessarily have a play yet. It's gonna be defensive Astrabit with an Earth Spirit, dude. Oof. Oof. You gotta be feeling real good if you're Hazy right now, because he gets to draw into another card. If it's an Elestral, you could almost put this one in the books. All he's got to do is take out that P-Gust now. Ruli's going to be fishing for Ambrosias. Ramagem is huge. Rumagem comes out in defense position. That means he can go for Nexus and pop a rune, and he gets to search for another Earth Elestral, a crucial piece at this point of the clash. Mega huge. Oh my goodness. That's a big one. That's a big one. Tectorus! That's a big beater. That's what he's going to use to try to get over the Astrabbit. And he actually gets an attack buff from the Astrabbit. All right, Equalinks goes to attack position. Small misplay. You should have done the Nexus first, because if you hit the Tsunami, you can no longer attack with Equalinks. So that is a little bit of a misplay. Just saying. Let's see, though. You're gonna want to use that Nexus right now to pop one of the face-down runes and then attack in the P-Gust. And then the following turn, Tectorus clears the rabbit, and you're in a great spot. Let's see. Order of play is very important, yes. There's the Nexus. He pops a Shield of Achilles. That is huge. Which goes back to some earlier plays, right? Like that there was never the Shield of Achilles play. I don't know if he just set that face down. I have to go back and look, but he never used it. All right, gonna draw. Astrabbit holding it down, but again, gonna only buff the Tectorus that's coming out on the next turn. Ruli down to just one spirit in spirit deck and has to contend with an Equalinks and a Rumagem. What is your out right now? Another Tectorus. The side decked Tectorus in the win deck. I don't know. I am not sure. It's Viscerus! Oh, baby! But he's not going to be able to get another one out. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The Viscerus hits the field, immediately threatening, but again, unable to use its effect at this stage of the clash. He can still clear. Now he's got to decide, okay, like, am I going to try to go after the Rumagem? Am I going to go after the Equalinks? Because Tectorus is going to come out, but it's going to have such a high attack stat when it does. If you're hazy, you're feeling good. You're feeling good. Oh my goodness. Let's see.
Life's better when you're under our roof.
Guess that's what American Family Insurance is for. He's the wise twin.
Save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance today.
The new Taco Bell contains a chicken menu. It contains a burrito, a crispy taco, and my favorite, the quesadilla. The possibilities are endless, so what are you waiting for? Oh my God.
I'm Furiosa! Furiosa!
Full trailer online.
Yeah, I mean, even with Viscerus, that's just a tough position to be in. Because Tectorus comes out and it just wins. Which is wild, dude. Like, Tectorus is just... It's a menace. And it's new Stellar releases with base set first edition right now, which is awesome. I think Ruli has seen the writing on the wall at this point. That Rumagem into Tectorus. Gonna take out the Rumagem. I'm trying to think if there's any other play left for Ruli here. Maybe... What? No, PTA doesn't even help you here. Like, do you have any way to stop a Tectorus right now? I don't think so. I don't think there's any answer. Oh, you can't alter. You can't alter because you're not going to have a spirit to Nexus. Like, you'd have to use a spirit to cast the altar, and then there's nothing left to Nexus, right? Yeah, you could PTA with 1, but that's not going to do anything for you. Oh, using Vis Spirit Nexus from Rabbit onto Vis. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. True. There's Tectorus, man. This one's over. I don't know. I don't think there's any, let's find out. You can't write it off yet. Is there an altar play? Yeah, I guess you could use a Spirit from Viscerus, play the altar, Nexus from Rabbit to Viscerus, change Tectorus to defense position, and then on the follow. Oh my! He does it! He did it the other way, but he does it. Wait a minute. Oh, he's not gonna do it? Wait, there's a play there though. You switch the. It's not gonna matter though. Well, no, it's not gonna matter because he has Demeter. Because the Viscerus takes out the Tectorus if it's in defense position, but then the following turn, Equalinx wins, and that's game anyway. So it looks like Hazy takes that one. Wow, that was a crazy ending there. Absolutely bonkers.
Alright everyone, thanks for watching so far. We are 2 games in. You just saw Dan's perspective. Unfortunately, he had to go, but that's alright, we completely understand. So, because of that, we were able to record our game 3. So we are going to commentate over our game and show you how the match ended. So, before we watch, I wanted to address the ending of that game with the Altar of Stars play, with taking the spirit off of Viscerus in order to enchant the Altar of Stars and then move the Earth into Viscerus. I 100% did not know that you could do that. That's the only reason why that did not happen, is because I had zero clue that was possible. I thought as soon as a spirit left an Elestral, I forgot that it stays in Limbo, and I thought it went straight to the Underworld. So I thought I was just done because I didn't have the spirits to cast and keep a monster alive. Hayden informed me that he had no more Earth spirits in his spirit deck, so that could have possibly won me the game had I known that, but now it's for sure something that I will never forget, and hopefully everybody learned a thing or two from that as well.
Yes.
But going into this game 3, we are running into time issues. As you could probably tell, the game 2 went super long, and we were forced to only play with 6 minutes, so it is going to be played till time. And the time rules were, as explained to us, were when time was called at the end of the turn, the final turn, whoever had the most spirits in their spirit deck was the one that moved on. So we are going to watch it. Me and Hayden are just going to kind of talk about it, explain our plays, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Hayden, are you ready to watch?
Yeah.
All right, I am going to put it. Okay, so we're entering in the clash. I'd already side decked. Honestly, don't even. I remember side decking out like things like Ambrosias and stuff like that. I don't know why now thinking back on it, because if we're playing the time, Ambrosia is probably a crucial card.
Yeah.
But a bit of theory with my deck was that Ambrosia, I had a searchable Ambrosia with Nemisail. So I was counting on that to regen spirits, and I wanted cards that were more useful to me in the beginning, to kind of establish board state and stuff like that. But thinking back on it, if you're ever running into time issues, definitely bring in Ambrosia. That is the card that might honestly win you the game.
Absolutely.
All right, so I had just lost, so I am going first. And if I remember correctly, yeah, I remember this hand. Yeah, I remember this hand being a banger from the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, we are keeping that 100%. Having Exaltair, and that was the other reason too, I think, to my reasoning to not bring Ambrosia, is I have Exaltair, so I knew that Burn was already a strategy, like a searchable strategy for me. So I was like, I can search Regen and I can search Burn. So I was just kind of playing on that. So I think I maxed out on just the all-around toolbox engine and just brought down everything else. So Hayden's going to start it off with an Astrabbit. Best first start in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And especially So when playing for time, it was a lot different thinking. Like I was never thinking of like, oh, how do I win the game? I was just thinking, oh, how do I make sure he uses up his spirits before mine? So things like counter runes and stuff like that, you have to be very careful with how you use them, because if you use too many trying to gain advantage in the normal game, you can kind of go really low and establish an advantage and then kind of come back, but in this you didn't want to go too low. You didn't want to get to the spirit differential to be too much. All we knew is that we had 6 minutes left, and I believe after the first turn or two we were told we only had 3 turns left, so that'll eventually come into play. I don't remember exactly which turns
I'm not sure
we only had. But see here, something like a Gorgon's Gaze, like I don't know if that was the best move with the time.
Yeah.
Because it didn't. Yeah. You want to explain why you Gorgons?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to see what this turn's all about to analyze.
You remember
why
your
I did
hand
that.
much?
I don't. And I probably should have let that go through. I would have saved myself 2 spirits. And yeah, I probably didn't need to use that Gorgon's Gaze, because now you see I'm putting an Ash Rabbit into attack, and I guess, yeah, I really didn't need to do that. I have another Ash Rabbit, so...
Yeah, here was that... Okay, so here's that play that I was talking about. Me and Hayden in private were talking about earlier. So when I PTA'd his Ash Rabbit, because when his Ash Rabbit becomes to 0 attack, he can't deal spirit damage to me. So I'm pretty much getting that like advantage of saving myself from taking damage from his Ash Rabbit by just using that damage that I would have taken to cast a PTA, and then I can expend 1 at the end of the turn. So it's like I ended up losing 3, but I was able to, instead of taking 2, I was able to take 3, and then you still remove 1. So the removal was cheaper at that point. Otherwise, it would have been, for any other card, it would have been a 4-point swing.
Yeah.
So that was like I was definitely doing that. I think it was really hard to maybe switch your mode of thinking from spirits to this. I mean, Wind is such an expensive deck that now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it was a bad play doing what you did, because I'm gonna have to spend a lot of experience spirits in order to make my plays.
Yeah.
So I'm almost thinking,
I had
justified.
And I know I had an Ambrosia in my hand from the beginning. So I think that's why I was being a little more risky. And of course, I play fire against your Wind deck like all the time. Like I knew like just every play you're gonna make, like as you made like a tick or a call, or if you were thinking, and like it's just like I don't know. I knew you were gonna have to expend more spirits, but still, like you and I were talking before, I played this Earth deck like a fire aggro, because that's like the only type of deck that I've been playing for the past couple months. I entered with Earth Beaters in the last tournament, but I don't practice with Earth Beaters like at all. So it was, I think I just was stuck in that mindset too, where I'm like, all right, you have to expend a lot of spirits. I have an Ambrosia, and I can knock you down some spirits. I certainly didn't expect the Nemisail and the Exalter to come out this early in the game, too.
Yeah,
I was not.
Which I probably might have done it differently if I wasn't playing for time. What were your 2 face downs here? I am curious.
I think I had a shield, and I had a shield and something else. And the shield, I think I feel like we're on turn 0, or I think your turn was turn 0 and mine is turn 1, or I think right here. So
yeah,
Viscerus off the bat.
Yeah,
and I think
you cast your you didn't cast. Yeah, here comes down the Ambrosia.
So
I'm wondering if I think we just got told. Yeah, it's turn 1. So then I have 1 more turn, and then it's you get to end on your final.
And
turn.
I'm feeling pretty good right here. Like if I attack, I take out your Nemisail, or you can use. Unfortunately, it was a 1-cost Tsunami. Otherwise, that would have been
that helped out a lot too. Yeah.
But yeah, with your Exalter play, dude, if I had an Ambrosia, if I had 2 Ambrosias, game, right? But I don't know. It was tough.
Altar of Stars is it would have been a great play for me, but I believe I can't remember if my turn's the last turn or if your turn was the last turn.
My turn's the last turn. You were turn 0, then
okay.
I was turn 1, then you turn 2.
Yeah, because Exalter here, like, my hand has to be perfect in order for this to go the way that it does.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I Exalter, use the Spirit, go on a Nemisail, do the 4-point swing where you go down 2, I go up 2. That puts us tied.
Yep.
But then, what? I'm struggling to remember exactly how this ended. So I went up to
I think
12.
you only had 1 to regen.
I attacked, and the issue here, like I said before, now I remember, the issue is if you use your counter runes, you go lower.
Right.
So that was the biggest issue, was now that I'm able to attack over, I want you to use your counter runes so that you go lower.
You have an Altar of Stars down, dude. I probably should have gotten rid of your Nemisail.
Probably.
I guess we'll see if it makes a difference. Yeah, dude, I should have. I was going to lose 2 anyway.
Yeah, you're going to lose 2 anyway.
Dude, I would have been at 11, and then you would have been at 12. I guess, no, I would have lost because you wouldn't have had to do a thing. And I wouldn't have had an out.
But I also would have had to cast. I would have had to cast Altar of Stars too, which would have brought me down to 11.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I
guess
just
if
lost
I didn't,
right
I wouldn't need that. Yeah. If I have Altar of the Stars up and I cast Nemisail, then that in order to, I mean, if I bring the Spirit over to Nemisail, then yeah, that works out where I gain the advantage. But if Nemisail is off the field, then I can't use Altar of Stars, and I guess you'd have to have had some way to make me expend 1.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a way to make me expend 1, then yeah, I had it.
Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't come back after that board stage. Wow, Dan would have been having a freaking show with this one, man. He would have been all over your
100%. I would have loved to see his reaction to it.
So
that would have been so close. Yeah.
That's it. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I could have just left it, but I'm pretty sure I activate Altar just because it didn't even really matter.
Dang. Yeah, you killed it with Nemisail. You got 3+3.
Yeah, dude, Nemisail literally won in time, which is another thing that you don't think about with Elestrals too often, because a lot of times you're playing casually and then like competitively it's best of 1, so you never really run into time. But in Top Cut, this was the first time where I ever had to deal with time in Elestrals specifically.
Yeah.
But now thinking about it, having a searchable burn and a searchable regen, I think is just everything.
Yeah, it's huge. You had every tool you needed in your first hand, bro. I mean, I had Ambrosia, so like I could have played smarter in the first few turns. I definitely misplayed by not counting for the time and playing those S rabbits and playing the way I did, I guess.
I think the thing that was tough in our position too, that would have made us play differently, is when we first started this game, we were told that we had 6 minutes left. And we didn't know what that meant. We were just like trying to go and play whatever 6 minutes left. And then it was halfway through. It was like after like the first 3 turns, he's like, okay, you have 3 turns left. Yeah. And that's where you had to switch on a dime. And unfortunately for you, you're playing Earth Beatdown, which is control. And I'm playing Burn Regen with Nemisail Exalter. So there's just nothing, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's so true. Dude, it was great.
But yeah, everyone, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I think Dan does a great job of commenting over it, and that's why we wanted to use his videos, just because it was fun to see him talk about it. But it was a great, it felt like an anime moment, you know, Yugi versus Joey.
Riley was singing the songs from that.
Yeah, I was singing that song the whole game. We had so much fun, and we appreciate any support.
Yeah.
Appreciate people calling out the YouTube channel in the comments and just supporting us and appreciating the content that we put out, because we do put a lot of work into it. We have been, trying to get a lot better and just continuing on. So any of the support, any of the shout outs during the match did not go unnoticed and was very, very appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who sticks with us and supports us along the way. It means a lot, and we're playing the long game here, so we expect that we have to earn the subscribers, the viewers, the fans. We expect to grow this channel to the best we can, and hope that you guys will enjoy the ride along with us. So thanks again.
You had laurels, dude. I wonder if that would have made a difference.
I don't know when I think I drew that in a bad spot.
So you had that face down, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You did a lot, bro. It was, I don't think I had a play after I, like, did the first couple turns.
Yeah. With where it was. Because it all cost.
What messed me up, too, is, like, even if I had a way to tie the spirits, doing the 2 Ass Rabbits, I drew 1 more card than you.
Right.
So, like, I was gonna lose on deck out even if we tied for spirits.
That's true.
So that I was at like a double disadvantage. Like I had to get.
So there was right, and so you drew twice and I searched once.
So that was like I think it was really dumb on my part to do that.
Yeah, I mean my hand too really put you at a shitty position. I had literally my Nexus for burn, plus I had Aeolus and I had the Island of Aeolia. Like I had 2 Nexus banks, plus I had my burn card. So it's like I think you. Even if you had Gorgon's Gaze at the beginning, but no matter what, that costs 2 spirits too, and you're not getting my bird off the field.
Oh, so that's like, right. That was such a dumb play, bro. Like, why was I protecting that Ass Rabbit?
Yeah, I think that's where it came into. You were playing it like normally, where you're like, oh, I can keep board presence if I protect this Ass Rabbit. But I do think, I think maybe you should just let that Ass Rabbit go.
Yeah, I definitely should.
Because if you didn't use those, I don't think it would have changed much. I think, well, maybe I would have been able to get in more damage from like attack. So I don't know. Maybe it would have changed everything.
I can't remember correctly, but if I had that Laurels down, like, and you had an Aeolus with 1 spirit on it, like, I mean, either way, like, one of the next turns, I could have Laurels your Sorlet and got that off the field like I wanted to, or
yeah, because I had Island up, so it's like. Yeah, you should have just laureled.
Let go of the Ass Rabbit, man. Why did I need him on the field, bro?
Ass Rabbit, man. He's your best friend, and you try to protect him so much, and it ends up costing you the game. But anyways, yes. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all.
As always, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, the like button. Make sure you leave a comment below. Are you Team Riley or Team Hayden? See you next time.